Hey, I'm Jake. I work at RainCloud and Alembic Technologies. A couple of weeks back, we decided that we were going to go out and look for an agency that could develop and automate an internal workflow that we had to do every month. At the beginning of every month, we had to set up some infrastructure stuff for the business. It was not particularly complex, but it was very rote. And so it took up a lot of time. Our employees that could have been focusing on more impactful work, but it was still work that needed to get done. So we wanted to start looking for a agency that would be able to automate it for us in a reasonable budget and deliver it on time so that we could continue to use it for future months. And so we went out and we looked at various individuals on Fiverr, different freelancers and agencies on Upwork. And I ended up being able to connect with Rowan at Ionio. Right off the top, the one kind of distinguisher with the agency was just how easy it was to communicate with them. Their English is fluent and easy to converse with. They're very familiar with North American companies and how they operate, budget constraints, stuff like that. So there was no real issues with communicating. We ended up just drafting together the workflow of the project, the flow chart, and some Loom videos. I created a very crude mock-up on Google Sheets, and they were able to kind of just take my ideas and run with it. They knew what I wanted, how to make things better. They were able to introduce ideas of stuff that I didn't know was possible, but would optimize the workflow going forward. So they were very considerate about how we did business and how this tool would fit into our workflows and able to optimize from there. One of the things I really enjoyed, besides the fact that it's so easy to communicate with him just on Slack, on WhatsApp, was how transparent he was, not only with the pricing and process, but including the timeline. So occasionally, of course, with software development, you will hit inevitable obstacles in discovery and trying to figure out how to overcome these. He was always very transparent, so we were never left wondering why things were starting to be delayed or if we hadn't heard any information. He was always very transparent with what the obstacles were, how they planned on overcoming those, if I had any questions, very considerate with our concerns or just keeping us informed and in the loop where needed. Highly responsive individual. I like the fact that it was fixed price. I didn't have to worry about budget bloat or budget creep, anything like that. You kind of hear some of the horror stories. These guys were adamant that they were going to deliver for the agreed upon price and that they were going to honor the contract, which was a very nice thing for them to do. Very easy to communicate with. And then eventually we ended up getting delivery of the software itself. A couple of things on our internal workflows had changed and so the software needed to just be tweaked and adapted very quickly. They were understanding and more than happy to accommodate that. Core concern for them, of course, was always just project success and making sure that we were able to develop a long-standing relationship. This is, of course, the reason why we continue to work with Rowan and Pranav at Ionio. They're very easy guys to work with. They're very trustworthy and loyal individuals, so it's so easy to come back to them time and time again. The software itself is great because it ends up saving us about 100 hours every single month, and this was money that was otherwise having to be devoted to hiring other virtual assistants to automate a process. So it saves us about $1,000, $1,500 per year in VA costs alone. And then in terms of our own hours, it just automates the process and it makes it a lot easier to scale. So it was a massive piece of leverage for us to have in-house. And of course, we're very grateful to Rowan and Ionio. I would encourage you to reach out and have some preliminary discussions with them. I think you'll see very immediately why they're able to distinguish themselves from their competition. And thank you again to Rowan and Ionio.